Valentino Rossi, many motorcycle racing enthusiasts' greatest of all time, has recently transitioned onto four wheels, following his retirement from bikes. The legendary Italian, who began his career in the late 1990s, has recently been speaking of what is needed to succeed in GT cars. Today, we are discussing Rossi's admission that he needs to work on getting up to speed with faster GT cars before the start of the season. Stay with us. First up, let's discuss the great man's career so far. Well, of course, Rossi is synonymous with motorcycle racing, so it will come as a bit of a surprise to some that he will now be racing on four wheels. After making his debut back in the late 90s, he went on to claim 9 Grand Prix motorcycle racing world championships with both Honda and Yamaha. He bagged his first title in 1997 with the 125cc World Championship, before going on to win the World Championship on the bigger 250cc in 1999. The Doctor, as he is affectionately known, won his first MotoGP World Championship as a 22-year-old back in 2001 and went on to dominate, bagging the next 4 championships in a row. He was in contention to win the 2006 title, but lost out in the final round after crashing, and 2 more titles beckoned in 2008 and 2009, which were ultimately his last. Rossi, whose father Graziano was also a motorcycle racer, saw limited success following a broken leg he sustained in the 2010 season and left soon after the accident to join Ducati. But it's his years riding for Honda and his first stint at Yamaha for which he will be best and most fondly remembered, as he blew through all comers in one of the most dominant periods of motorcycle racing of all time. Do you remember Rossi's early years? What was the best championship win of his in your opinion? So what has he been saying in regard to his upcoming GT debut? Let's see. Of course, Rossi will know as well as anyone else that the transition into GT cars probably won't come easily. And last week, ahead of the GTWCE Sprint Cup at Brands Hatch, the man himself admitted there's work to do. The great man scored his first championship points as he finished 8th alongside Frederik Vervisch in their WRT Audi R8 LMS G23 Evo 2. After a slow start, Rossi upped the pace in the latter stages of the race, which was the second of the 2-hour-long races. And on reflection, Rossi suggested that there was still room for improvement, saying that experience was very different to testing. He said, "In the test, you can concentrate on driving the car, but in the race weekend, in the practice, and especially in the race, it is very, very difficult because you have a lot of cars, things that happen all around you." He went on to explain that you have to jump straight in, as there is no 5 laps to get to grips with the car, before saying, "For me, the good drivers make a big difference compared to me in this respect. I need to work on that point." Obviously, GT cars represent a big change from what Rossi is used to, but he showed how game he was towards the end of the race by posting a sequence of laps in the high 1 minute 23 seconds, which wasn't too far off the other pro-class Audis. What else happened then? Stay with us to find out. After posting the fastest lap of 1 minute 23.852 seconds, his quality was there for all to see, as fellow driver Vervisch was only slightly ahead of the Italian, with a time of 1 minute 23.704 seconds. And the former world champ on 2 wheels spoke of how he made a big step forward in his GT career. He then told reporters how his lap times had improved towards the end of the race, which was a result of him feeling more comfortable in the car and on the track. He said, "I really enjoyed those final laps," and his performance, which has been lauded by some GT fans, was good enough to hold off a late challenge from Jean-Baptiste Simonauer and Thomas Drouet, who was handed a 5-second penalty for contact with another car at Druid's hairpin. However, following a less than satisfactory race 1, in which Rossi and Vervisch finished in 13th place, the pair can be happy with their performance in the second race, which gave fans a taste of what could potentially be to come throughout the forthcoming season. What do you make of Rossi's first showing in the Audi R8? Let us know your thoughts below, and give us your predictions for the season ahead. So what did his team make of his first points of the season? Well, being the modest man he is, the Italian speedster actually seemed surprised, especially after receiving props from teammate Frederik Vervisch. However, he did go on to describe how he was probably lucky not to have crashed on the first lap. The crash, which he had to steer past, actually involved 3 cars, and the Italian was lucky it wasn't 4. He said, "In race 1, I was lucky to escape any problem at the first corner. Then, I basically stayed where I was." He went on to say he was much happier with the second race, and Vervisch Dervish was quick to praise the Italian, saying, "We scored our first points of the season and are very happy with the performance. We are progressing well, and Vale is learning fast and making big steps. We now need to focus on improving both of us, our pace and qualifying." And team principal Vincent Vossi said that he felt the pair ran a very consistent race, and that Vale really did a big step forward. His lap times at the end of race 2 were among the best. Rossi should rightly be proud of his performance, and will be hoping for more of the same going forward. What did you guys make of it? Next up, what can we expect from Rossi this season? Let's discuss. Of course, being his debut season, fans and authorities in the sport probably won't be expecting Valentino Rossi to pull up trees. So what exactly can he achieve? Well, being the superstar world champion he is, he will feel he belongs among the best, and that mentality could be the key for the Italian if he is to achieve his goals. After retiring from MotoGP last year, he will be hoping for a smooth transition onto four wheels, and explaining how the opportunity came about, he told of how Vincent Vossi, boss of the WRT team he's racing for, explained his goals for the season. Rossi said, "Vincent came to me in Tavullia. I like his approach. I like to race with Audi, and his team is very competitive." He went on to reveal that winning is very important to him, which is why he signed with the team, and he was also impressed with the car the team had to offer. He said, "The car is very good to drive. It's a very strong race car." Vincent said that my lap times are not so bad, so I trust him. Rossi then said he expects to be able to fight for the podium this season, which shows you the confidence of the man. If he can finish somewhere safely in the midfield, this would probably be seen as a win, but Rossi being Rossi, he will want to finish as high as possible, or at least score a few podiums. And finally, when is he going to call it a day? Well, no time soon if his personality is anything to go by. As we know, it's very hard to let go of that winning feeling, and Valentino Rossi has proven that he is a winner in the purest sense of the word. And Keith Hewen, himself a former motorcycle racer and MotoGP commentator with BT Sport, has spoken of Rossi's absolute burning desire to compete at the very top for as long as possible. So on this evidence, he will probably be around for some time yet. After taking part in the second round of the 2022 GT World Challenge Europe at Brands Hatch last weekend, his first ever visit to Brands Hatch incidentally, which we have previously spoken about, Keith Hewen spoke of how impressed he was with Rossi's unparalleled desire to win. The great man had to avoid a pretty nasty looking crash in the opening race, but composed himself to finish. And Hewen said on the MotoGP podcast last week that a lot of racers have dabbled with four wheels, but Valentino possesses the obvious talent to succeed. He went on, "But I think Brands Hatch, Sunshine, and Valentino Rossi, what's not to like about that weekend? Valentino, even going on 44 years of age, he's made sure to have the right people around him to sharpen his edge, and I can't see where he's going to stop." He also spoke of how Valentino is simply doing it for the love of the sport, which is great to see. Do you guys prefer racing on two wheels or four? As always, thanks for dropping by today. Remember to join us next time for some more fun and games. And why not do us a solid by liking and sharing today's video with any motorsports fans you know of. Bye guys.